And boom. Hello, we are live. Talk a comic campaign, King Toad Incorporated. Swarm. I was reading over this, I'm like, wow, this sounds cool. Because normally I see something, I just look at the imagery, I'm like, cool. And then I find out about it while we're live, usually, like actually digging into it. But I'm excited because I actually read over, did a little bit of pregame, and you're kind of hitting on one of the elements. I need to do a video about like what I think comics or storytelling can be, like, the appeal of superheroes, especially because one of the things is like injustice, and it's either the government or power at hand is either corrupt or unable to act on behalf of the people's goodwill. So you need a guy that technically is breaking the law to uphold the law. Like, that's the appeal, and that's what you're doing. So I don't know if you ever actually thought about it like as a concept of comics, but cool. I love it because this is like a cool element that I'm loving. So we're gonna be talking about this. Let me pull it up. But what got you making comics, getting into, I assume, your comic skate? Sorry if you're not associated and I tagged you that way.
No, yeah. I'm in there. You could just throw me on in there.
All right.
Yeah. What got me started in comics? Well, I mean, being an 80s / 90s kids, I mean, comics were, everywhere. So it was kind of in the formula if you're an 80s kid. As part of your entertainment, you had like Saturday morning cartoons and comic books. That was the thing, right? So I'd say early, like the 80s, Spider-Man, Jim Lee's X-Men, stuff like that was like my introduction to comics. As far as like getting into creating comics, I actually didn't even start doing a lot of that until I met Joe Ball, obviously, my business partner. Hey, he has a face.
Yeah, Joe Ball.
But yeah. We met early. I don't think it was our freshman year in high school. It might have been like our sophomore year. And we started working on some different things because I was doing more like writing stuff, like novel style, not really comic books.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to know each other, and skip forward a little bit. We decided to start trying to get in the business, one would say. And back in the day, all you could really do is either go to conventions with your portfolio, which we did that. We would come up with like 10 pages or so of a script, and JB would draw it. And we go in front of like the Jim Lees and Alec Rosses and all them people and show off our stuff. And maybe we didn't really get anywhere with it. It was cool. Then we also submitted to Marvel and DC. You'd wait about 5-6 months. Get your letter of like, hey, this is cool and all, but we're just not hiring right now kind of talk. So, yeah, all that good stuff. So we started dabbling and making our own comic. We were working on a team book for a while and stuff like that. But again, this was like early 2000s, so you didn't really have like, you didn't have, YouTube really wasn't a thing other than, I don't even know what year YouTube came out, but I don't think it was a thing quite yet. Not like it is now, like where we have, streams and stuff like that, even like a community for comics. But yeah, so we started, I don't know, like trying to get out there that way, but it was like a very slow process. And we kind of got burned out trying to make comics. And we actually opened up a comic book store. Did that for a little bit. We figured, if we can't make comics, I guess we're still getting the business somehow. So we sold comics for a little bit. We didn't mind it, but me and Joe were both like creators at heart. So when you really actually want to do that part of it, we started kind of getting back into that. Actually, he started working on Death, like planning it out like years ago. So he'd sit at the shop and work on that, and we ended up closing shop. We just got kind of tired of it, and he started going back into that was about 3 years ago when the CG started kind of coming around, maybe 4 years.
Mhm.
Hell, actually probably 5 years at this point. Time flies. It's been a minute actually. But he got into that realm before I did. He was there for like 2 years. I didn't know anything about it. I actually went into writing my own like short chapter books. Growing up with like Goosebumps and stuff like that, I wanted to kind of make those kind of chapter books for kids. I did a couple of those. I made 2 or 3 of them, and he reached back out to me. He said, "Hey, maybe you should give the comic book thing another try." I was like, "Oh man, I don't know. We kind of did that, And he's like, "Oh well, check out the CG movement going on," and he pulled me in with introduced me to Phil and Brandon Diaz, Ace, if you know who the Ace is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Edward, Sim. That's when I started kind of slowly meeting people like Chris Evans doing his morning roast. I started getting into the community, and I'm like, all right, there's something going on here. I sat there for about a year, and I started developing some stuff, and we teamed up with. Hopefully, I'm not just talking on here to your question.
No.
No, it's cool hearing this because it's like
give me my whole life story of CG.
Making me go back to like the start of this, so it's
another time.
It's cool to see the other angles people come into this center that is comics.
Yeah. When I came in, to see what was the big CG thing. I'm trying to think the big projects. I mean, honestly, I think Ethan Van Sciver launched. I think Cyberfrog was big. I don't know. There's a couple that's like disappeared. Tried to, but anyways, I got introduced to like I said, the people I said pretty much a hardline. I got thrown into hardline. Thank for Joe for that. Introduced me to those peeps, and we started developing. Me and Joe and Sweens made a side company. That's we started the King Toad little ink here. Did the paperwork, got it legalized, and so the first project I did was Mothman. And the reason I did Mothman because it's something around this area where I'm from. And Sweens was familiar with it. Joe was familiar with it, and it gave me a starting point. I like monster stuff, so I'm like, yeah, give me a good little kind of get warmed up to doing this type of stuff. Even though I didn't know how like popular monster books would be in the community with CG at the time. I didn't do too bad. I think I did like around 5K on my first campaign. And I still sell the book today, so I'm happy about that. I actually got it on Etsy and our own King Toad site.
Oh, nice.
So I started there, and unfortunately, Sweens isn't with us when it comes to the King Toad thing anymore. He has his own like family stuff that came up and some other stuff. So and now it's just me and Joe. Down to 2.
More money for y'all.
Yeah.
Look at the bright side.
He's more than welcome to ever come back to it if he wants, But I'm not going to force the guy like, you must make Oddity 2 in King Toad's name. They want to go down that route. But yeah. So then Joe launched Death with King Toad as our second kind of big. Obviously Joe's more known than I am, if anything. So we got to see big numbers out of that. That was exciting. But yeah, so we had a monster book, and then we have Joe's like big monster of a book of I don't know, like a graphic novel style. And I was like, all right, well, what else can we bring with our King Toad like audience? Like what do we want else to be able to be said about us? So I'm like, let's make a superhero book. And one of the books that me and Joe started way back in the day was actually a team book. We had some like good ideas in it. There's some generic stuff. So when you do a team book, you always kind of have that. You have some stuff that works, collabs well, and some stuff that just falls on its ass. So I was looking back through all of it, and I started pulling some characters. I was like, oh, you know what? This was actually a pretty good idea. I tweaked some stuff. I took Swarm. He was more like a robotic looking bee tech thing back in the day. and I just kind of rewarped everything with him and came up with a better backstory. And actually, Armadillo, the guy right there, he was actually pulled from it as well. And I pitched it to Joe. I was like, "Hey, why don't we try this as a superhero thing?" And he's all down for it. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, this is what he thinks was missing is just kind of getting that classic good guy thing, like almost like I grew up like in Blue Beetle, Spider-Man, stuff like that. Kind of bring a little bit of that flavor to it, And that's
makes me think of Wasp, honestly, with the wings on the suit.
Wasp, yeah, Wasp is another one.
Sorry, not Wasp, Yellow Jacket, but well, I guess Wasp as well.
Yeah, the flying insect people, yeah.
Arthur from The Tick.
Oh yes, man, yes.
Oh crap! I just started watching that show, so it's like, it's.
Did you ever watch the live action?
No, that's what. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay. Because
there's
a '90s cartoon. I remember the '90s cartoon. There's two live actions. There's
two different ones. Oh man.
Yep.
Right. Because they made it more like a non-funny one recently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how well it did, but
it feels there's little things where it's like, I like this angle of like, is this guy in his head or not?
Yeah.
So far, but I'm like, it's still kind of flat, like for me, for my taste, I'm like, we'll see where it goes, because like The Tick's like a weird comic that I need to read, but I don't.
Now I never did pick up the comics. I was introduced to The Tick on like Saturday morning cartoons.
Same here.
Chairface, I think, was one of the villains.
Yep.
I think he's like his main villain, right?
Yep.
Wait, what's the deal with Chairface?
He literally had
a chair.
It was a chair.
Oh my god.
American made.
I think at one point he tried to put his name on the moon. They got like CHA. And what was really cool about that, they actually kept it through the whole cartoon, though.
Yep.
Like, every time it would look at the moon, it said CHA.
Yep.
Source material. They kept it there. One of the funniest episodes I thought was when they had the superhero like party, and like had like the Tick and all these like big wig at the, it was almost like a bachelor, not bachelor, but like a frat party. They're all with their the sippy cups and drinking. I don't know where they drank the alcohol, and then it pans over to like this little shack, and like it just has like the sidekicks sitting in like like they're just sitting there like
Arthur, yeah.
Like they were like stuck in like a, I don't know,
the kitty table.
The kitty table, it was hilarious. But I don't know, I lost my train of thought. Did I answer the question? I think maybe.
More or less, yeah.
More or less.
I feel like
how I got into comics.
Yeah.
I went to how I got into comics and Comicsgate at the same time for you, and started King Toad.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Well, we've been lax last few streams, so there's a little thing I do with Chris and with Ricky, but we've been lax, and we're going to do it this time. So if you got a drink handy, it's time to partake. You all know what time it is. It's the time for
the Horn of Ceremony. What the hell was that?
Toast to the stream.
Scone.
I have aqua.
It doesn't have to be alcoholic, but mainly.
No, I gotta get to work. Let's get lit and go to work.
That makes work better. All right. And now that we have imbibed,
this concludes the Horn of Ceremony.
I can't remember how I thought of it. Oh, it's because Ricky, because I'm Black Angus, so cow, puns and jokes. For Christmas, he sent me this Viking horn, drinking horn. I'm like, what's that? Like, he knows I'm like, if he's gonna send me anything, I'm into like Greek shit. I got Athena and the owl behind me. Like, I'm into Greek stuff. And he's giving me this horn. I'm like, what the? I'm not that much into the Vikings. And then I'm like, oh, Angus, I'm a cow. Ah, okay. And so it's like, it's so weird. Like, it's not necessarily decorative, even though it has like, you can just clip it on like a hook. Yeah. And I'm like, let me incorporate into the show every couple days. So Thus,
Man,
I needed.
we have a
I needed
Renaissance
to-
festival around here that starts up in about 2 weeks, so I see those things everywhere.
Where are you at?
Nice.
Ohio.
Okay, I'm in Columbus area. So, where's Renaissance Fair at?
It's between like.
Nice.
Do you know where Dayton is?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's between Dayton and.
I've never got to go to a Renaissance Fair. So what? September?
All right. Yeah, September all the way through October.
Oh, so it's like a month long. Okay,
Yeah,
I might have to take.
Ends on Columbus Day usually.
I might have to actually partake of that. I've never gotten to go to a Renaissance Fair. I'm from Oklahoma originally, and they got like this big castle in I think Muskogee or Okmulgee, one of those two towns, and just never had a chance. Like they have a big Halloween shindig, but yeah.
Oh,
that's cool. So, are you cosplaying? Are you? I don't know. Are you partaking as like a character going, or?
Yeah. I'll usually nerd out. I'll get my little Renaissance outfit on with the little hat and feather and all that stuff.
So
dress up like Kiss.
Are you like a Robin Hood or what?
No, just like pretty much just like a generic like Renaissance looking guy. The baggy white shirt that has like the little
Yeah, the leather cord.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't have a Seinfeld fluffy shirt?
It's close enough.
You steal it from Bancroft.
Yeah, actually, I think didn't Bancroft have like a Renaissance shirt?
Yeah, the puffy shirt.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh man,
nice. I'm kind of sick. A little detail I noticed just scrolling through here, looking at instead of my phone, looking at something bigger. You got this cool crossover. Do y'all plan to actually ever make your comics crossover?
Yeah, we was talking about the volume 2. I want to do at least like we can nice have like 4 to 5 page, like in the middle, where we have like a little team up side story. Just almost like a comics used to have like those ads in the middle kind of thing to break up stuff. Yeah, a little bit like that.
So. I'm not an experienced reader. I'm a novice. Comics got me into like somewhat actually reading comics. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm a movie guy, so my like I'm a story guy when I read comics versus like, oh, you got the trope or the pose, or how could he draw it that way? It's like,
hey, I feel you. I mean, I'm the writer, so that's kind of my take as well. I'm more into like the story aspect than I am the art a lot of times. And it's so weird because like when you talk to an artist, they'll be talking like, panel 5, this the way they drew this and all that, and I'll be like, well, was the story good? kind of guy. That's kind of how I am. Like it's almost like video games, like video games and even movies. Like you say, like you can be impressed by the graphics, but if the story sucks, do you really fucking care at the end of the day?
Dude, the writer's lot, we are meant to suffer in this world because, like,
we are, man.
We're not the rock stars. Like, we could make freaking Hamlet, and it's like if the art looks like crap, nobody's gonna read the book.
It's true,
but yeah, it sucks, man.
Stoney, you idiot. Joke's on you. I can't read.
So, see, the pictures have to be good for him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's funny. Like initially, like of course, the covers. It's what draws my eye. I want a hot comic cover.
Yeah.
Whether it's like sex appeal of a pinup or if it's like, it conveys like a pitch of the story. It's gonna be awesome. And I really hate getting tricked by like Xenoscope or Dynamite. They really lean into the variants. You get hot artists and like Vampirilla when CG was pushing Dynamite because of the EVS Association and all that and others, Anna and
I got one of those Fragaboom.
Yeah, and then the art side, like the Chris Priest, like it was like their biggest comic at that point. Chris Priest doing Vampirilla 1.
Yeah.
And you read inside, and it's like, first of all, if this is like, a sell for Chris Priest, yikes, never want to read his shit again.
Oh, damn.
But the art, it felt like what you would expect to be drawn in like a airport, like pamphlet of like, here's how to put on your neck preserver.
Oh, no. Yeah, very, very two-dimensional there.
And So like I'm not an art snob, but I see shit like I'm like, why would you spend money on like this is mediocre? This is below amateurs. Like, you know, and not as an insult, but like it's Comicsgate in general, besides like the pros that have gone indie.
Yeah.
An amateur movement. So it's like you get leeway with like art, especially if you're trying to make a comic, you know, like if you're not drawing it, what art can cost to make 24 plus pages, level layers. You get leeway. So if like CG had a book drawn like that, I'd be like, as long as the story's good, I'm not going to crap on you. But connections as a horror company dying is seeing that, it's like yikes. And I hate that. I hate getting bamboozled with like Art Germ does a cover for dog shit.
Oh yeah.
And I see this and it's like, wow, what an interesting artist. I'm assuming digital, but like there's a weird like
Adam Miller just kind of came out of nowhere from
1800s style to it. I don't know eras exactly how to pinpoint, but like there's a glossy classic style to this. And what's interesting, I don't know if this is supposed to be her boot or not, but like she's got bug toes.
Yep.
And so I'm like, what's going to go on with this lady?
Yeah. I say Adam's also doing a CG trading card set. So
okay,
look forward to that. He's taken I don't know how big the set's going to be, but check out Adam Miller on Twitter, and he's starting to show off some of the art. Like he'll show off like a little section or something. 'Cause I don't think he's want to show everybody like the full art stuff yet until he's got the campaign going or what. I don't even know who's all signed up yet.
But this one really sticks out to me. I like how you got such different art for each cover, but this one really stands out to me.
Yeah, I got the Michael Yakutis one done first. That was the one up on top. He actually worked for Image. He did like inking and I believe some coloring for Image.
Oh, nice.
And I reached out to him, and he's down for doing a piece. He didn't care that I was CG. We got a little backlash like on Facebook by like somebody like, hey, you know that guy's like affiliated with CG, and he's like,
oh god,
he's like, hey, you know what? I don't have a problem.
Yes, I'm part of a hat group.
Yeah. Well, I was like, well, luckily he has the piece done. So if he decides he doesn't want to associate with me, but he didn't care.
That's what you gotta do. So on the stream, the little icon of like the Thanos Minotaur, the colorist. So that's HK Stash. She drew and inked it. But the colorist I hit him up on Twitter, or I put it out in the ether, and he's like, "Oh, I can," So I chit chat and get a price. I'm like, "Cool," and quick turnaround. And then like I comment on Twitter. I'm like, "Hey, thanks to the art of HK Stash and the colors of this guy." Then he blocks me. I'm assuming because he's anti-Comicsgate. But so like whenever I get, this is what I want the back image of my comics to be. So whenever I have a campaign, I'm gonna like kill him with kindness, like always blast and thanks a lot, blankety blank guy. Be sure if you want good colors, go check out him. Look at the work he's done for my Comicsgate book.
He's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's a Nazi too. Join us, like.
Join the movement.
look like great art us Nazis can afford. Like, joins the Fourth Reich.
Yeah, the first artist I hired for when I did Mothman, I paid him like half up for it and got him the script, and within like 2 or 3 weeks he got back to me and being like, "Oh, your Comicsgate. Sorry, I can't do the project," and all this stuff, and he refunded me. I was like, all right. That was me for like, that was like my first, like, as I say, after my first year of being around Comicsgate. And I was like, it's cool. It's like, whatever, I'll just find somebody else. I didn't really reach out to too many Comicsgate creators at the time because I didn't know a lot of them. And everybody's like, work on other projects. And, you don't want to take on somebody or have somebody do art for you that's already working 2 or 3 books because then your book never gets fucking done. You're just kind of like in limbo.
Yeah.
So, I learned. I learned from first book. So, doing my second one, I had. I mean, hell, I even had this one all the way finished. That was mostly just I had time with Joe doing death, and him making it. I didn't really want us to have like another campaign going of 2 books still being worked on, under the company name. So I was like, oh, well, fuck it. You know what? I'll just take a whole year and get it done myself before launching. That way I didn't want people to come back at us and be like, well, we're already back in death. Why would I back, Swarm, another book by you guys, if it's not done, kind of thing, I didn't want to fall in that category of like us having like too many projects going on. So yeah, I made sure it was complete. It's done.
Nice. Yeah.
So what's the story with this armadillo guy?
Armadillo. I'll start with Swarm. That way it kind of gets to Armadillo.
Okay.
There's an organization that has created a serum using human and animal DNA, a little bit of some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if you would, kind of scenario. I always liked that formula as a kid. I grew up with Saturday morning cartoons and Power Rangers. I was an 80s, 90s kid, so Power Rangers was the thing. You always got excited about the villains, right? Like who they going to fight next week or tomorrow's cartoon. X-Men was kind of the same way. I always thought it was cool. Like Omega showed up. Omega Red was like, badass.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always like I always like that thing with Turtles, that there's always like this new mutant villain each episode. And
yeah,
I don't know. I like that formula. I like that you can just play with that. You can like, oh, if I have some type of mutagen kind of effect, what could I create? You get you don't have to like. How do I say this? Say you want to be a villain one day, and you have to sit there and be like, okay, if I'm gonna be a super villain, I want to be, Atom Man or some villainous thing,
Mm-hmm.
But if you're born that way or mutated into it, you're kind of like, well, shit, I guess if I'm an armadillo, I'm not going to be Shark Boy,
Yeah.
So, it gives you that, and you can like, you can kind of play with it. You can even add multiple mutants, when, if I want armadillo mixed with shark DNA, what the fuck would that make? Probably something really cool to fight, right?
Land shark.
That's a crazy mix.
Yeah. So, you got street sharks.
Are we talking like a dogfish or a great white?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm a hammerhead fan, so like to take a hammerhead,
Okay.
put armadillo armor on it, that'd be pretty fucking sweet, wouldn't it?
Dude, I love hammerheads.
Yeah.
So I came up with
pretty cool
this idea, like there's a serum that this organization created, but it's they're not a good company. So what they do is they take homeless people or kids off the street. In Joel's case, an orphanage. They're straight up adopt your ass, take you out somewhere, and experiment you in these facilities. And that's how Swarm Joel got turned into Swarm. Was he was experimented on. Now what they do is if they like the outcome of it, they're either sell yourself to the highest bidder, or they will sell the serum in some cases on the black market kind of thing to create their own super soldiers. So yes, that's how Joel got involved in that unwillingly. And then to get to Armadillo, he is on the other side of the spectrum where he voluntarily became Armadillo. He's one of the guys that goes, oh, okay, this worked for some other dude. I'll take this shit. He's, I didn't it's too much of his backstory, but he takes the serum. He's like he actually
like
comes out.
Obadiah Stane. He's kind of envious. Of...
Yeah, he'll come out of the armor because I know he looks very tech in this. It's a tech armor, but he does come out of it, and you will see Armadillo as himself. Do some fisticuffs with Swarm later on. But yeah, so he actually ends up working for that organization and gathering homeless people and children and continuing the process. He's a hired henchman in a sense for this organization. And that's also oh, good. Sorry.
I was going to say, if they're targeting the homeless, it sounds like they're cleaning up the streets, honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
are they the bad guys?
I mean, if you're homeless, wouldn't it be kind of cool too? You're kind of like, what made my life shit? And some guy's like, well, I can turn you into a giant fucking like mutant squid Ant-Man. You go kick the shit out of some stuff. And I'm like, can I still get drunk? Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Sleeping in an alley or turning into a mutant squid.
I mean,
It's
if
funny,
you're drunk
'cause
enough,
I-
you'll do it, right?
I've only given
What do you
money.
think?
I've only given money directly to one homeless guy, and it was outside the job I had. He was a regular like wanderer in the area. And I was leaving work, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm down with look stuff like, can I get a dollar for? I really want a beer." And I'm like, oh, "Wow, you're so honest! Like, hell yeah, here you go." Other time it's like, hey, I'm not gonna give you money, but you need help or something. He's like, I'd love a ham steak, and I'm like, sure, Matt Kroger, whatnot. But yeah, no, it's funny. Like, is there orphanage makes sense, but home, like, is there without having to spoil? I guess if you're concerned, what I feel like this is a loose thread for the organization. Like, what's the allegiance once they get this power? Is there like Suicide Squad, the bomb in the neck, some form of control, a countermeasure if they go rogue?
Oh no, man, the main guy, he doesn't give a shit. He's out for his own kind of
He just wants chaos. Okay.
No, I wouldn't say that. He's out for his own goal. He's wanting to kind of create his own like end game with like. I guess I don't want to give like too much of a spoiler, but there's another villain, like that's to him. These guys are an experiment to his ultimate self, in a sense. Like,
okay,
if you could create all these cool fucking guys, they're going out and like, oh yeah, there's an armadillo guy and all this shit, then you start coming with the possibility like, can you create a god, and shit like that once you start really experimenting with all this DNA and all that stuff. So we'll be kind of dabbling in that as the volumes come out.
Nice.
How many volumes do you have planned in your head thus far?
God, man, it'd be nice if I could at least get like 5 volumes. I mean, I'd continue on from there if I can, but if it's something that people aren't really liking too well, then I'll end it sooner than later, kind of thing. But if it's something people's excited about and they really like the character, as far as that villain arc that I have set up, that shouldn't take more than probably like 3 volumes, and then I can continue on with kind of like how like Turtles and X-Men and stuff like that go on. You just come with your next story arc, so if everybody likes the first arc, I can continue on with the character and go
What's
from
up,
there.
Newsroom? What do you call it? Stoney has a couple phrases, a couple sayings here. He says, "The bad guys take in orphans." Okay, hear me out on this. I want to be a henchman. And he says, his own Endgame. Please know that movie was so good. No, Endgame was awesome. It's probably the best comic book movie ever. Fuck you, Stoney McKinnon, douche. Wrong again. Yeah, no,
I didn't mind Endgame.
I fucking love Endgame. No. Like, yeah, narratively, it's got its own convenient plot points or whatever that like eat itself. Time travel's stupid. Terminator 1 is a stupid plot. You can't send your dad back in time to make you. That's stupid. It already falls in his face. But within the context of like, all right, suspend your belief about this fake crap. Is the story good? Cool. Endgame's awesome. I will fight you for real. Come here to Ohio, Stoney, and we will duel. Get you.
We have a lot of woods. We have a lot of woods around this area.
Yeah.
So.
Shotguns,
I got 9 mil. You
backyards,
get you a 9 mil.
wood chippers.
Let's
go.
Yeah, no problem.
No, it's funny hearing you talk in depth about Swarm and kind of villainous buildup, because it's like, fuck, it sounds a lot like mine. Like, I'm doing something kind of different, but it's like, it's funny that like totally unrelated convergent evolution's happening with storytelling. So I got METH GATOR got a similar template I'm going to build for them. So
Crossover, maybe.
There you go. Well, I mean, everybody kind of pulls from everything,
cool.
Anyways. Like
yeah, no, TMNT is definitely the starting kind of template.
Yeah, comics. If you don't have a formula base, anyways, I mean, you're probably doing something wrong. So, that's how I look at it. I don't know. I didn't get too artsy with the ideas. I didn't go like dark. I did keep a a scale in mind of how dark I want to go or how action packed I wanted it to go. You know what I'm saying? Like the second half of it, because volume 1 is 2 issues. The first issue has Armadillo. Second issue is when he's taking on Night Wasp. And when I first wrote the second half with Night Wasp, it ended up being like a little bit too Batman feeling for me. Like it got really dark, and I was like, ooh. I didn't want to go like that route with it. I've already seen a lot of like darker comics in CG and just mainstream. I'm like, I want to still keep it a little bit more on that.
More kid friendly. Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say kid friendly, just a little bit more Spider-Man actiony kind of vibe.
Okay. No, I didn't mean that. Sorry, that came out as like sounding a neg. Sorry, that was just a tone problem.
Oh, no,
I'm not opposed. Like kids movies are awesome. I don't know a fuck ton of kids movies because they have good stories. I like lighthearted sometimes, but I'm a dark guy. But with comics, yeah, Batman. Like I feel like they just have dug into that well too much and tried to like, well, it's working here. They're doing the Disney crap where Thor 3 worked. So. Yeah. Now we're not.
I love when people like
anymore.
defense for Batman too. It's like you ever get the people that's like Batman if they just did like a darker story. I'm like, they've fucking done every dark story you can. They've literally they've done dark stories like back in the fucking 80s with Batman. I mean, you had a Jason
Batman
get
cult.
Fucking
awesome.
Pretty much murdered with a crowbar.
Yeah,
like,
and the fans voted.
Like how fucking more dark can you get besides the Joker literally beating the fuck out of a kid to death?
Yeah,
I mean, I know Jason comes back later on, but at that time period, he was fucking dead.
Yep.
So you've had a story where what was Joker fucking raped
Barbara
Gordon.
Batgirl. You've had you've literally had Joker rip off his own face to wear his own face again.
Yeah.
Like what? How fucking dark can you get? Like what do you? What?
The Batman who laughs.
Dark is like one of those things for me. I don't mind it, but sometimes I feel like it's just it starts teetering into like a gore fest where like the story doesn't matter as much as everybody's just more shock value. It's like, oh, look how shock value this is. It's not really written well. It's just
and it's tough to keep up because it's like, how do you top, like the grotesque or like the.
Well, then you start getting the two limitations of the character. Because to me, it's like, I always was a big Batman fan growing up, but then you start getting these stories so dark where you're like, okay, doesn't Batman shouldn't he have a limit? Like, all right, if you're like literally raping and beating kids to death and shit, I think you can kill somebody at that point.
Yeah,
I think it loses its value there.
Yeah, you're an enabler at that point.
yeah, you are. You're like, I know this guy's gonna get back out because DC wants to make money. So
that's a tricky one for me. That's a tricky one for me.
Oh no,
because. That's just like Spider-Man with his objectivism from Ditko. Batman is like, I'm brutal, but I won't cross the line of killing. Because I can't make that call. That has to be, if there's a death penalty in Gotham or New York, wherever, then fine. Like that's the appeal of like, I'm not crossing that line. I mean, he's already crossed the line being a vigilante when he's not elected.
Well, I think a lot of people like have gotten so fantasized by the villains and forget about the heroism in comics.
Yeah,
that's kind of like what I want to do with Swarm. I want to a little bit back up a little bit and get more of where at the end of the day, you kind of want to root for your hero.
Yeah, no, I agree because Spider-Man, he's like the best comic character because everything that's appealing about him in the suit is like his person sucks. It sucks to be Peter Parker. He gets no benefit of being Spider-Man besides he's physically fit and maybe now he can pull girls because he's a little more confident. But he doesn't make fucking money. There's no advantage socially for besides the sex for Spider-Man.
Hey, when Todd McFarlane was drawing him, man, he definitely made out with MJ. MJ was pretty boss in those old comics.
Yeah,
he was definitely a winner.
I
don't know what MJ looks like now in the newer stuff.
Probably not like morbidly obese.
She's probably a lesbian. She's totally fucking somebody else on the side.
Is Spider-Man or TMNT, are those like your favorite comics?
I would say so. I would put Spider-Man in there mostly because like I grew up again with a lot of the cartoon side of things. So after school you'd watch your Spider-Man, you'd watch X-Men.
Yeah.
We didn't have a comic book store around here growing up, so like I'd just get like whatever issues Walmart or something was carrying off the rack. So it wasn't until after like high school and stuff.
Dude, screw you! I never seen a comic store till I was in the army.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have the exposure of being able to like pick up every issue when it came out, kind of thing. And that's kind of like my take on Swarm too. I want to make sure like when people get this book that I didn't leave too much opening for the first volume. I mean, it's got the story arc that's going to continue, but I want to make sure there's not like a to be continued as like he's punching Armadillo in the face and stuff like that. I do see a little bit of mistakes in that with some of the indie guys, like having too much of an opening ending. Because some of these guys I haven't heard from in like 3 years. So I'm like, well, I guess that's all. You know what I'm saying though? Like you gotta be careful with that in the indie side of things. Because then people also will like maybe lose interest in it. I don't know.
It's like Marvel, Pizza Papa will return.
Never. Yeah. So I don't know, it's something I kind of just paid attention to on the second one, or my second campaign. Yeah, I think I made a well-rounded book, if I may say so myself.
Yeah, in fact, you're saying
only time will tell.
I saw 50 pages, and so do you have like all of these already printed, or is this the proof?
Yeah. Only one I'm still waiting on right now is Joe Ball's cover proof to come in. I ordered it. I think it's supposed to be here on the 1st, so here next couple of days.
Nice.
But yeah, see, I got the Michael Yakutis one already. This was
cool.
the first one I had printed up.
Wait, hold on. Let me.
And I got the
solo layout. There you are.
Yeah. I got the soft cover. I know you can't tell by me doing this, but I'm just letting you know it feels really awesome.
It sounds so soft.
Yeah, it's so soft. And I got the Adam Miller one as well. Already.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Look at that full bleed, baby.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Is
that perfect bound?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I got those two already done. I mean, I just got the proofs done. So like whenever I'm gonna order.
So tell me about this. What you can. What was the name? You said Night.
Night Wasp. Now
Night
what she is I would classify her a little bit as a the Catwoman kind of vibe, as far as like like where it's a villain, but it's not a villain. A villain you can sympathize a little bit more for, because she too was taken into the program as a child, but they didn't like the outcome of her abilities. They didn't see as much potential, so they just want to take her out back into Old Yeller her ass,
Oh damn.
Oh yeah.
Wait, with tits that nice and plump, you're gonna Old Yeller her? Are you kidding me?
What kind of man?
Is this some sort of like gay Illuminati?
Well, she was a child. She was a child.
Oh, now she's looking at her.
now they'd regret it. Yeah. But yeah, as a kid, she was taken out back, and yeah, they were going to like just execute her. She gets away from that, and she goes and starts her own hive in the sewers, and she starts building an army. She has a little bit of an aliens thing going on.
Oh, cool.
Where I was about to ask that.
She has she has like these little squid things that'll come out like her back and stuff, and they'll go on your face, and she implants an egg, and then you turn into a like her hive. Like,
oh damn.
Yeah. So there might be a sample page on there somewhere where you
needs
see
to get lots of attention, because I want weirdo furries to make Rule 34 of this person. Saying.
Yeah.
Hey, she impregnates you.
Exactly.
Yes, mommy.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the two baddies I have set up for volume 1 to kind of kick everything off.
So are these her swarm members?
You can kind of see them in the back there, in the sewer there. If you go down a little bit further, I think I have some pages on it that might have swarm. Giving one a good old elbow to the face, I think. There's somewhere on there. There's a Prince. There's a handsome young man. There's Swarm. That's Joel without his outfit on. He's just chilling with his King Toad shirt.
Oh, okay. He's reading Ace.
He's wearing, yeah, he's reading Ace.
That's cool.
Yeah, with some with his bee drones. He does have a sidekick. He has a little sidekick, normal dude, little nerd guy who does all his tech gear for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, this art looks so cool. Now, do you have different art for first issue, second issue?
Yes, yes. First issue. The original artist did a lot of it, and then Joe did his magic on the first half. I didn't want him to do overlays on the whole book because I didn't want to take away from the original artist. There's some of our Hive members. Get like a look there.
Yeah.
There's a guy getting the egg treatment to the face right there. She's talking. She's like, shush.
Just mesmerized by that awesome rack.
Yeah. But yeah, Joe did a lot of stuff on the first half, and I want to make sure I let my other artists shine through the second half of it. So I didn't. That him doing death. I didn't want to keep pulling him for his time.
I'm biased. I am totally loving this Joe art.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it's got such character. It's gritty.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool.
Yeah, we did 50 pages altogether.
Nice.
Original.
So it was, your attempts to bait me will not work, at least not until my artist has power again.
Oh.
Me and Rookie just rewatched Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. And loved it, of course. And it was just
you're a Star Wars guy then, right?
Oh, dude, that's how I got into YouTube with Star Wars. Last Jedi.
I'm a Star Wars guy, but I'd be careful because CG fucking will beat the shit out of me for like Star Wars.
No, that's how I got into it. Was World Class, and then they had your boy Hack, Richard Meyer, who I got so on board, and then he shit on everybody in Coxgate and bailed on the court case. Screw that guy. And then EVS of course was like the next up, and they had a little trio for an attempt to the High Council. And so I started following EVS when he was just like old man yelling at the computer with his pencil about Star Wars articles. No real charisma at all. It's just like, I don't know why I'm watching this guy. And you see where he's gone. He's like really good.
Star Wars is fun because you can point out the stuff that's great about Star Wars, but you can also just point out the shit that really sucks about Star Wars. It's like franchise that can go either way.
There's only 3 movies, so I don't know what.
Those fake news. There are 6 movies, and then there's corporate add-ons where how I watch Star Wars now is like, all right, here's Lucas's story. This is the truth. This is reality. And then I add, when I watch new crap, it's like, all right, it's like, sure, according to the canon of the ownership, these are the white rules. So it's like, okay, so I multitask my interpretation where it's like, it's all fake fan fiction. But then the other side, it's like, all right, well, within the context of adding to the lore, making their Book of Mormon to what is the Bible of George Lucas, here's the pros or cons of the add-ons. Here's my enjoyment or hatred. So Ahsoka came out, and if you watched it, but lightsabers are meaningless now if you get stabbed. You can cry about Darth Maul, but Lucas did that, and it's like, it's not really far-fetched when it's a Force user on the dark side that has tapped into his hate so much that he's preserved himself, yet he's also mentally compromised. So it's like, okay, this is strange lore addition, but it's not far-fetched, especially with Palpatine in episode 9. I don't have a problem with him being back. It's just there's no Horcrux. There's no reason Star Wars can't just recycle the Emperor forever. He's never dead.
Yeah. That whole trilogy made 0 sense. It was like a fever dream by somebody who had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah, but for me, my only gripes with Lucas is the fucking Ewoks. That's worse than Last Jedi. It's worse than anything Disney can do is the fucking Ewoks. I hate them. And rewatch Attack of the Clones. It's so good. It's when you actually sit down and pay attention, it's so packed with information.
God.
Even like the slower part, it's just like, wow, I'm getting something every scene. But the bounty hunter plot with Zeb, it's like, okay.
I love that. I love that whole thing with like the bounty hunter that hires a bounty hunter that has. Like,
no, it's cool because
Yeah.
I was like, all right. Here's the thing.
Outsource.
Right? If Hillary Clinton hires me to bounty hunt one of her compromised accomplices, hey, Angus, here's $1 million, and I'll be like, I want to avoid risks though. So hey, Chris Fisk, here is $250,000. Go kill that guy for me. And so I still keep a 3/4. So it's like, and I remove a level of.
You gotta go Cad Bane. Cad Bane's the best.
I remove a layer of culpability. You gotta go extra steps to tie me into the plot, make me a criminal. But that's never clearly established. And she's a changeling, but then she never utilizes her changeling ability to disguise herself in the club. So she is useless.
The whole scene was.
Could they actually, if they wanted to, like, kind of fill out with the Force?
Well,
if they want to go that way, or no?
No, no, enough Force users, enough Order 66 survivors. Disney.
Yeah, how many of those people survived that shit?
Man, too many.
Yeah,
but
I
no,
like at work, and everybody's acting like I'm stupid about it or something. Like, well, I'm like, no fucking well. Like, there's enough survivors at this point where a whole fucking Jedi Order could be fucking redone.
Defeated the purpose of Order 66. Like, did you get rid of the kids? Okay.
Order 66 is a decimation of a fall guy enemy. It's like.
Well, no, look at Ahsoka. It just introduced the guy that just passed away. Like, apparently he was a past Jedi. I'm like, so he's Count Dooku? Like, how many Count Dookus do we got out there now?
No,
I would say.
Where the fuck was this guy at the whole time?
I would say, generally I'm a Lucas Pierce, but I'd say missteps would be fucking Ewoks, of course, instead of Wookiees. Zeb, it's only a 2.5 hour movie, Attack of the Clones, and with such an expansive story, that's not a lot of time. So,
dude,
the whole point of Jango Fett is to, have similarity to Boba Fett, his son, and give that character more screen time to establish, like, well, this is why Boba Fett's cool. This is why he does what he does. Here's what his father did. This is where the suit came from, etc. And it's cool to see.
Then he
someone
makes the same
take on a
mistake
Jedi
by cutting his head off.
It's cool to see someone non-Force using
George
like
Lucas.
that to take on a Jedi without any fear. Cool. That's because the Jedi have such mysticism to them, and then here's a non-Force user that's like, whatever, let me pull my blaster on him.
Yeah, but his lightsaber's like an instant deflector dish. It's like, come on.
But including Zeb, it takes away screen time when it's like you could still have the same plot thread of him going to Kamino through the detail Dexter Jester's. So, I plan to do a whole video of like, here's how I would have wrote the bounty hunter plot of like the chase on Coruscant to lead to Kamino, etc. Because getting Kamino, like, cool, but it should have just been like Obi-Wan interacts and like he has a quick dash with Jango Fett, rips off a piece of his armor, and then he takes that armor to Dexter Jester and is like, hey, like, do you notice anything about this? Is there any detail that might give me a clue? And it's, Kamino. Still have the missing Kamino plot at the temple. And then you go to Kamino. So everything still works out mostly. If you want to have Zeb, make her like the chauffeur for Boba Fett or Jango that keeps like the Slave One running when he's on a mission. Or if you have Zeb, actually make her changing element worthwhile, and then she's disguised in the thing. She's hiding out. She tells a bouncer like, hey, there's a couple guys following me, the Jedi, fucking stall them, keep them out, whatever. And then she grabs like a punch or something, changes so they don't know who they're looking for. He's going off of a faint Force signature, and they can still cut off her arm. Like, there's so many elements where I'm like, what were you? Man.
I think there's too many people like just kind of praising George Lucas at the time of episode 1, 2.
Oh yeah,
they're like, yeah, he can't.
Too many
do
cronies.
This is the greatest idea ever.
Yeah, sycophants.
Yeah, no, episode 1's awesome. Episode 3's awesome. Episode 2 is pretty good, but that's probably my only real egg is the bounty hunter plot. And then the unclarity of Master Sifo-Dyas, that should have been a prologue scene.
Wait. What about like sand? You know, I don't like it because it gets into everything and it's scratchy.
There's
the
context of it. The context, man.
My sister was saying that after we left the theater. That's how she's like, why do nerds who only talk to women after they give their credit card number think they can write freaking romance? Like, this is terrible.
No, it's the context of it. This guy, he's had attachment with his mother, and he's taken into an incel virgin order of monks and indoctrinated for 10 years.
My problem with the whole thing, too, though, is like, there was nothing stopping them from being like, you know what? Anakin's kind of been a dick lately, right, guys? I mean, we can all agree on this. And they can be like, yeah, he kind of has. Maybe we should go save his mom at least.
Yeah.
At least play the fucking mom.
Exactly.
Was that a Kermit voice? That was pretty good.
Yeah, Yoda. First on bitch, we will.
Yeah. They literally just left her in slavery, be like, hey, no attachments, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Fuck you.
Yeah. Well, no, like, you know, the meme.
They kind of deserved everything they fucking got.
Yeah,
The meme they make of, I slaughtered the men, women, and the children, you know, that whole thing. People make a joke out of it. I'm like, that's a good scene. Like, that.
But then again, why does Yoda get so mad? It's like, well, you know what? You know, no attachments, right? Fuck them. They're desert people.
Yeah. Well, like.
I mean, if you're going to go save his mom, I guess nobody's going to have moms then. That's
no.
That's
I think Lucas layered a very compelling fall to the dark side for Anakin. You know, his mother element fridging his mom with
her death scene was horrible. Oh my god, it's probably
the
worst death scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
How?
So she's just like I love.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
You saw the hand.
I totally buy it. Imagine you haven't seen your mom in 10 years, and then you
horrible.
find her, try to save her, and because of premonitions, and she's been beaten for months, and you, especially given how she's tied up, you assume raped by these.
They never seen a
sand
Tusken Raider's face, but she's definitely seen other parts of him.
Yeah.
Well, there's Carl in there getting his way.
They all have a perpetual O face with their
His
mask.
slaughter of the Raiders makes complete sense. I love it. But I do love that Disney with Boba Fett had this angle of like, hey, well, let's show like there's a range to Tusken Raiders. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I'm not like one of these people that like just pander to a hate audience that is just ready to hate everything. I try to be objective as a fan and see like good elements of Disney. I think the Tusken Raider element and Boba Fett's like kind of Phoenix rebirth redefined the character. He's, you know, clean slate him because he doesn't have much to go on film wise. I think that was cool. I just think like, how do you make Andor where it's like, let's show that like the rebellion has been dirty in their dealings to fight a bigger
Did you
threat.
like Andor?
I've seen a couple episodes. It's getting boring, but I do like
boring as hell.
I do like the angle of dirtying the rebellion.
5 episodes of it could have been just easily one episode. Like the whole like where they did the whole mission to get, what was it, like ammo or money or whatever, the money stuff. I just felt like it was so long to get to like nothing. I was like, well,
there was
you spent all that money on this. There's a big budget for this, and like, I don't know. Like, sometimes like Star Wars was a little bit too Star Trekky for me. Where I'm like, Star Wars needs a little bit more action. That's the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars: is the action, the thrill.
Well, no, I would say the difference is Star Trek is about interpersonal, international, you know, politics and conflict.
To me, it's
Star Wars is cosmic. It is about the
but still the fighting and stuff like that. To me, Star Trek is like watching submarines fight versus Star Wars, which is like watching, you know,
aircraft carriers.
Yeah.
And I sometimes like Endor was that for me. I was like,
dude, what was the point of the series? The dude died. Like, we know he's dead. Like, why didn't they just make a Mon?
That's what's wrong with Ahsoka. You know, it's like the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka, it's like you got to assume that most people are film snobs if they're watching this, and they're not going to give time to learn a backstory through a cartoon series.
Yeah.
Even though it's a good cartoon series, it's like, well, that's stupid. That's for children. There's a smugness about animation that only Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse has really been able to work around.
I don't understand why Sabine was such a dick. Like, I actually liked her in Rebels, but in like the first 2 episodes, I'm like, why the fuck is she such a cunt?
Did you notice that all the women were heroes, all the men were villains? It was feminist.
Yeah,
garbage.
or missing. Like, where's Zed?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that simple, but it's just you've made a huge female cast when it's like
What do
Star
we get,
Wars
like,
is
six-
for
who wants to
boys.
see
I think
that?
we're only supposed to get 6 or 7 episodes, and like what? Thrawn's gonna be in the last one probably because they
Yeah.
have to come up with some stupid fucking story where it's here's another fucking star map that like Luke Skywalker. Also, everybody's got these fucking
Dagger.
weird ass maps to everybody.
Yeah.
Who the fuck makes it's like, oh yeah, Thrawn's
Yeah,
in this
no.
place.
What I hate is that people that are Disney shills that their whole time they're part of the problem why Lucas sold Star Wars because of all the like internet hate of the prequels, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to expand his story. That
I love
he
Thrawn. Thrawn's like one of the better villains.
couldn't.
Oh,
He
yeah,
didn't have
from
the
the book.
ability
Holy
to
shit.
with the original 3, and they're part of the reason that essentially made Lucas hate his own product. And not want to like put the effort at 10 years to make a new trilogy. So he sold it off to the White Slavers. And now that the White Slavers own it of Disney, now it's like, whoa, boy, yeah, Ahsoka and prequel stuff and Obi-Wan. It's like, me as a prequel fan, it's like, I've been here the whole time, and now you're finally dipping into the shit, and you're ruining my era of stuff. Fuck
Well,
you.
No, dude, Disney had all of the markets cornered. They had the little girls market with the Disney princess shit. They had the boy market with Marvel and Star Wars, and then they had the family market with like all of their cartoons and shit. And they destroyed every one of them. The family market went when they started pushing the weird rainbow shit. The parents, like especially the conservative parents, are like, I can't leave this to babysit my kids. There's weird shit going on.
Yeah.
So they lost
What's
that.
going on?
Yeah, they lost the princess market because all the freaking princesses turned into counterfeit men. They're basically like just outlawing femininity. And then they destroyed the Star Wars and was Indiana Jones and Marvel and stuff. Like that's a boys' market. Now you just flooded it with feminist garbage. Like females do not make compelling characters when they're basically counterfeit men. Like they're all stoic and like every one of those characters is the same fucking character. Like there's nothing different about
like
it.
Asajj, like she's a classic villain.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She uses her like Catwoman. She uses her sexual wiles to make you underplay her ability,
Dude,
or
Asajj
distract
Ventress
you.
was awesome.
I fucking love Asajj. I got the
Yeah.
Asajj Dooku statue recently. I need to display it somewhere, but I fucking love it.
Didn't they eventually killed her off in a book, didn't they?
Yeah, well,
I think
if they didn't kill off in the Clone Wars, then it's like
No,
the
she didn't
book.
die.
The book, yeah, no, the book is like I guess unmade Clone Wars episodes. I don't know why they kill her off instead of like leaving her open because she's like a night sister, so she can just be outside of the conflict.
Yeah.
And do her thing, especially because she's been a bounty hunter. She's tried to go clean. She's been in love with I think Quinlan Voss. There's a lot of things you can do with a character like that. But no, Ahsoka, the problem is like, first of all, you for whatever reason killed her before episode 9, so she's a forced ghost talking to Rey. So like we know a definitive end, and this is her first time live action. And they don't like reintroduce you to her for like, hey, for everyone that's too smug to watch a cartoon, here is what Ahsoka is. And also, I did this deep dive with Rookie reading an article about what the World Between Worlds is, all the like Easter egg depth to it, and all this stuff. And it's like, oh, so she's like essentially clean slate character that like her personality, she's a robot now because of experiencing this crap. And so I guess it makes sense seeing her in Ahsoka where she doesn't have much personality.
Yeah, she's a stoic man. Like it's
Well,
not
at least for lore, narratively, it makes sense for her, but it's not. That's not endearing. It's not captivating. It's not going to make me root for her. And it's like I have no idea what the angle is for her character, especially because she's like not in the picture of the main storyline for the Empire and the First Order. So, and then she's dead by episode 9. So it's like,
well, I heard that there's a possibility that since Azra's like where the fuck he's at and some like goddamn like Doctor Who bullshit.
Yeah, Tiny Wemmy.
Tiny Wemmy shit. So somebody brought a theory up to me about like how maybe she sacrifices herself to take his place, so he can come back or some weird shit.
I mean, she's already here, so like, I mean, I guess you
But he's
go
not.
back to the world between worlds, but then it's
Because
it's like
they started the time travel shit in Star Wars with the clone.
yeah. No, Star Wars is a linear story with like tangential, concurrent stories outside of the main storyline of like Skywalker's, and and then on top of it, they've tried to like conflate Jedi with Skywalker, which I don't know why you do that. There's a lot of problems with Disney owning Star Wars and the creators behind it. If it was like, I honestly, I was really hoping Universal would have bought Star Wars when this whole thing was in the air for buying Fox. I don't know. It's disappointing because it's like there's little like, oh, that looks cool, or here's like a little thread in some throwaway show. It's they don't. This company doesn't take chances. Like they're never going to make. They're never going to make like a Joker type of movie where it's like, hey, let's make a Joker movie and there's no Batman. Like he hasn't even got the suit yet.
Dude, that's publicly traded. All businesses are like that are publicly traded. Like when I was working in the video game industry, the AAA companies, everything was so risk averse that like you were basically making a cookie cutter game from a game design 20 plus years old. It was like when you were making your game pitch, you'd have to say like this or like that. Like you wouldn't be like, I'm creating a game that has the following mechanics. They'd be like, I don't give a shit. They're like, how can this make me money?
Yeah, like if like Turok came out today, but or like back in the day, like you didn't have a pitch for it. You're just like, hey, you're like this guy from like the future who shoots the fuck out of dinosaurs.
Exactly.
Like,
they'd be like,
shit, yeah. Throw that on 64. Let's go.
Do you have any sales guarantees? Like, what is this like? Is this like Doom 2? What's going on? They're like, no, it's got Native Americans. Are there any successful Native American games that have sold recently? No. Okay, then fuck you. It's like, wait, what?
That would have been kind of a cool pitch. Can you imagine being sitting at the table and they pitch like Doom back in the day?
Yeah.
Like, hey, yeah, we're going this thing where they're on Mars and like it's a portal to fucking hell.
Yeah.
That would have sounded
those
so
guys all
badass.
made it in their garage. Like, that's the thing is like those games that we had back in the day that led us to this industry and movies and whatever. A lot of these were like garage inventions. These were like buddies that got together and they just fucking made it themselves. And I remember that the shareware back in the day when Doom first came out and people were like, yeah, dude, like it's on like 8 floppies. You can download. I'm like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, that's freaking awesome, man. But now it's like, yeah,
the floppies.
Yeah, the 3. Well, yeah, I mean, this
Final
is
Fantasies. What disc you on? I'm on disc 2 tonight, man. I hit disc 2.
Yeah. Jesus, what was it? Like 4 discs for Final Fantasy 7, or was it
3 for that? I think most of them were 3. I think Final Fantasy 8 was 3 as well. And what was the other one? 9. I think 9 had 3 discs, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Once we got to PlayStation 2, I think that's when they kind of got away from where we had to have everything on the one disc.
Yeah, you got a DVD now. It's much bigger.
Yep.
Man.
Well, I know you only want to do about an hour because you got to go prep for work. I'd love to stay chat more with you. Normally we go for about 2 hours or more. But no, I appreciate having you on. I don't want to preclude you from your prep time for work. So any last words about Swarm besides, of course, back the book?
Yeah, we're at 84%. I think we're 28 to 27 days left. So we're not doing too bad. Because I want to hit at least
next payday. Mark. I'll be backing. So
I appreciate it. I mean, if anybody wants, as long as people like get throw it on Twitter, stuff like that,
share it
get out there. I appreciate that as well. If you can't back it, that still helps. But I think we'll make it. Like I say, being at 84% right now with 26, 27 days left. That's pretty good. I'll take it. But we got a couple shows coming up. I got a Bancroft show coming up.
Oh, nice.
Here soon.
Oh yeah.
2 other ones. So yeah, not doing too shabby.
Nice.
Check out that.
I'm sold on Joe Ball interior art. I guess some cool covers. I'm not sure which one I'll back yet. Probably that Miller one though. It's cool. It's cool to see like totally in the dark, just looking at a cool comic and like, hey, it's and then it's like, wow, we got a lot of like same kind of roots of story building. So now I definitely got to back you. Help support you, so.
That way, if he doesn't like it, he'll be like, did you buy this trash? Check out my book. This one's.
Oh no!
Damn!
It's like
Should've
I'm
sisters!
really behind this because it's like, wow, this guy clearly is like.
This guy thought he could make
thought patterns
superhero
in me.
books, but no, mine. What else can I throw out there? I did have these little cool. I think we have some Matt Burke sketch cards left. I got 4, 5 Joe Ball sketch cards. But if you back a sketch card, you get these cool little boxes we made up.
Oh,
And
Ooh, it's
your
got
sketch
got
card
a couple
comes in
colors on
these.
very cool.
Basically, want to
Really?
make because I wanted to start testing out in case we want to make get into making action figures and stuff. I want to start, seeing what boxes work.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, get those. Get back a sketch card.
Nice. Totally unrelated, but you look kind of like Proper Jeremy or Justin Proper, I guess is his name now. But
Wait, who?
I have no idea.
he's a YouTube.
Maybe I am him,
fellow.
and I don't even know it.
No, I'll have to
Shit, my
look
cover's
it.
blown.
Dude, I found your cousin.
Yeah, I just wanted to become a comic book creator, and you blew my fucking cover.
Abort!
Well, nice. I'm excited back because I can't wait to read it, especially with this night wasp lady and her tentacles.
Yes,
Can't wait. Back Swarm. Go check out. He also has a channel. Crap, where'd it go?
You won't see me do too much on that. You will see me. I appear more on Morning Roast with Chris and Sim more than anything.
Nice.
Wait, Chris
Yeah.
who?
Sugar
Chris
Chris,
Evans,
baby.
he does the Morning Roast.
Okay.
Red Dress Press.
Yep. Usually every
Yeah.
Monday, he has like a new guest showing off their comics. I think Saturdays as well. I wish I could make the Hardline because I'm part of the Hardline group, but I'm always I'm off to work by the time they start. So, but yeah, you'll see Joe on there a lot. So he'll talk King Toad and stuff like that. On
Cool. Yeah, I
Hardline.
didn't know you had a YouTube presence, so I'll have to look into that. Awesome. Well, yeah, be sure to just chat me up, man. You have to send me pictures of your Renaissance stuff. It sounds fun. I wish you luck on your upcoming shows as well.
You regret saying that once I send them to you.
Oh no, I'll just meme you. But yeah, go back Swarm. I suggest getting the Joe Ball or Adam Miller cover, but Armadillo looks pretty cool too.
Yeah.
2 issues in one, $25 at minimum. So back Swarm, and I'll see you hopefully next week for some more Meth Gator Presents, and definitely Thursday for All American Beef. Me and Rookie. Talk to you later.